Mike White is here, and we'll go around the room. We'll start with Mike Griffith and then go to Palmer Thomas.
All right, now you're gonna let anybody warm coach up? It's tough. I'm plunging right in here. We haven't
Coming in hot. Mike to Mike, ask a question.
Yeah, just get tough question right out of the gate. I asked Frank this, coach, and thought he addressed it well in terms of overall goals. I know you focus individually working towards that, but
yeah,
in terms of building this team into an NCAA tournament team, obviously that comes in stages. Where's this team at in that development, and how do you feel about the progress towards that overall goal?
yeah, we've talked about it with this team as we've talked about, this group here in the past couple months, more so than some other teams, because we've got some older guys and we've got 3 graduate transfers that came here and want to do everything in their power to try to put themselves in a position to see if we can make that happen. And it's just a matter of growth daily. This team's been as good as any team I've had from a consistency standpoint, from a work ethic, preparation, approach to practice, as any team that I've coached. And so, again, I don't know where we're going to stack up when it comes to the SEC. I do feel pretty confident that we're going to be really competitive in at least a lot of games. How many of those we can win, we'll see. It'll depend on, again, our continued development. That said, we're so locked in on High Point. I mean, we got a team here coming in tomorrow who's maybe the second best offense that we've played behind Miami. And so our approach right now is today's practice, and you guys hear me say it all the time. I know it gets old. Sorry, I'm a boring guy. And then obviously it'll be playing well against a team that runs great stuff, balanced scoring, and a team that's, again, got really good offensive numbers.
Thank you.
Yeah, Coach, with the extended break for exams the last couple of weeks, what benefit do you think that provided? And then, what do you want to see coming out of that break with just 4 games left in the non-conference slate?
Well, I think it provided some much needed rest physically and mentally. That said, as game time approaches against, again, a team that's dangerous from a mid-major standpoint, that coming off exams, quite honestly, if we would have known this team was going to be this good in year 1 of a new era, I'm not sure this would have been the team we would have signed up for tomorrow. So it's more of a challenge than we originally signed up for. Credit High Point and their quick development, their building over there. And so, the concern is that we can shake the dust off pretty quickly in that first half, because we hadn't played in a while, of course. And we've had some guys that hadn't been quite as locked in, for this practice or that one, or maybe this guy missed part of this practice, or this guy missed a whole practice because of academic reasons. We're coming off exams, of course. And so you have some of those distractions that you've got to fight through. Hopefully we're really sharp today and sharp and shoot around tomorrow, and we got some carryover at the tip.
Okay, let's go to Jordan and follow that up with Mark Weiser.
Mike, before the season, you talked a lot about tempo and how you guys wanted to play. What kind of progress have you seen over non-conference in terms of tempo, and just where do you feel like you guys are?
We're right where we want to be offensively. We're playing. We've played obviously more of this season on defense. I like. We're pretty gap heavy. We're a team that's got good overall defensive numbers. We are playing. I wish in a perfect world we could create a few more turnovers, a couple more turnovers a game, to where we're playing on defense a little bit less. But offensively, we sought out to play faster, and we have done that. Our offensive tempo is very fast. That said, when you have a chance to take a break, between games while your kids are studying for exams, right? As a staff, you spend a lot of time, and moving forward, we'll continue to evaluate, like we did these last few days, what's in our best interest, off of misses, off of makes, off of turnovers. But we're going to continue to play fast offensively.
My quick question, and then I'll have a little bit longer one. That you've had a long break. Is everyone available now, or you still have some guys that might not be good to go for tomorrow?
Uh, were Mark Sonny is available. Yep, RJ Sunahara is available. I guess he hasn't played in a regular season game this year, correct, Mike?
Right.
Yeah, so we're excited for, he's strung together some practices here, a few. He's obviously not at 100%, physically I think he is, but from timing standpoint, a confidence standpoint, is he in a great routine right now? We'll see, but we'll potentially throw him out there and see how he feels and see where his wind is. I think Maury Jordan is closer. I guess JJ is still dealing with illness. So that's a day-to-day thing there. Anyone else that I'm forgetting, Mike?
I don't.
Mark, anyone else?
I think
Okay.
that's about it. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
the other thing I was going to ask you is, you've obviously played a bunch of high majors already, and you have these 4 games before SEC play. There were a lot of attractive non-conference games last weekend when you guys were off. Do you like how the schedule set up? Like, is this how you want it to be for future years, or just the way it played out this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think the overall strength numbers are about where we want them. Do you necessarily need to play 6 highs and then play the 7 mids that we'll end up playing? I think that's correct, Mike. Correct me if I'm wrong, or Mark. I think you could have comparable numbers by playing 7 and 6, vice versa, or even playing 5 high majors or 4 high majors if those power 5s, power 6s, what have you, are elite level teams, and of course the numbers that are aligned to your mid majors or low majors, those will dictate your overall strength of schedule as well. But in a perfect world, the SEC would like to play some quad 1 opportunities in the non-conference. Although we've played 6 high majors, we didn't play 6 quad 1s, unfortunately. We're 3-3, and I don't know where all those are right now off the top of my head. That's not as important as preparing for High Point. But the other thing too is we've probably played like High Point a couple of these guys that are really dangerous, right? That you might be better off, especially this time of year, playing a team or two that can help you with your development. And we'll have some of those teams, and that's assuming we do what we're supposed to do and play well enough to where you can get some guys some minutes and make some evaluations.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Virginia with the red and black, followed by Dash.
Going back to that 11-day break, you mentioned some distractions and players being available again, but which players have you noticed stepping up in practice, and who do you expect to stand out in the next few games?
No one in particular has really stuck out positively, and I guess that's a good thing, especially when you consider no one's really stuck out negatively. We've got a few guys, a collection of leadership and consistency. Justin Hill comes to mind, Noah Thomas and Jabri, for sure. Frank and MA have been as consistent as they always are. Practices, games, they are who they are. And, so we've got a group of guys that just continue to bring it and work.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mike, in regard to the 6 high majors you guys have played this year, what have been the biggest lessons you've learned about your team by them playing those contests?
I think really the numbers speak for themselves, that we can be really competitive defensively. I'm proud of where this group, how far they've come from a defensive standpoint, their buy-in, their connectivity defensively. Our program's come a long way from the start of last year to where we are now defensively. We've gotten a lot better, and it's something that we'll continue to preach around here. If you're going to compete with the best teams in the SEC and the best defensive conference in college basketball, you better guard somebody. We've got to rebound better. And then offensively, our efficiency isn't where we were hoping it would be at this point. That said, though, I do think we shoot it better than we've shown. And you shoot a little bit better from the foul line. Your assist turnover ratio can separate a little bit because it's very even right now, I think at 1-to-1, which is better than it was a year ago, of course. And then, of course, I think we're a better 3-point shooting team than we've shown to this point. That said, we've played a tough schedule. After these next 4, we'll continue to play an even tougher schedule. But I've got optimism that we'll shoot it better from 3, and our offensive numbers, I think, will indicate that we're better than we are today.
And we'll wrap up with Jack Leo.
Yeah, you talk a little bit about High Point maybe being a tougher matchup than you might have expected. I'm just curious, like,
Yeah.
what exactly is it about the way they match up with you guys that makes them that way?
Sure. First-year head coach was an assistant at Creighton, and they did a really good job in the portal. They did a really good job recruiting overall out of high school ranks as well. And then they run a bunch of different stuff offensively. They've got great tempo. They execute really well. They attack closeouts. They share it. Their offensive numbers are really, really good, especially for a first-year mid-major program. And so, we're prepared to play again. One of the best offenses that we'll play, certainly that we've played to this point. Miami's elite, coming off of Final Four. But after Miami, again, could be the best offense that we've played. Balanced scoring, 4 double-figure scores. Got a bunch of guys that can score at all 3 levels. And they can score in a variety of ways as well.
All right. Thanks, Mike.